What's this? I promise that's the first and only time I'll say it. What is up, LEGO gang? Nicole here, back at it again for another video. You guessed it right. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new LEGO Ideas Nightmare Before Christmas set. Before we get started, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you around, and without further ado, let's dive into this set. LEGO Nightmare Before Christmas is the latest set in the LEGO Ideas program, which lets fan designers submit their ideas to potentially become a LEGO set. The 59th set in the LEGO Ideas program will have 2,193 pieces, releasing on September 3rd, 2024 for $200 US. Inside the box, you'll find 3 instruction booklets, each one covering a different scene in the build. This gives you the opportunity to build this with 3 different people, but if you're selfish like me and love this movie too much and want to experience everything, you can also just build it by yourself. In the first manual, you can find some information about Simon Scott, who is the fan designer for this set, and then on the next page, there is a write-up about Halloween Town and Nightmare Before Christmas, and last but not least, some comments from the LEGO design team. There is 1 sticker sheet included with this set. There are a total of 14 stickers, and I promise you, they're not that bad to apply. And for those curious, there are 16 bags in total. Now let's take a closer look at the 8 characters that are included with this set. Up first, we get the mayor, who is completely brick built, as well as his accessories that are also brick built. His torso, which is just what we're going to call it, is fully printed. He has his little mayor ribbon, as well as the Black Widow spider that is his bow tie. For his accessories, he has his very tall hat, his little loudspeaker, I think that's what it's called, as well as the plans for next Halloween. He comes with 2 facial expressions. One is a happy face, and then on the other side he has this more scared, worried, anxiety face. On the other side of the torso there is no printing, it's just plain gray, which is totally fine. Overall, I think they did an incredible job with this character, and if I could change one thing, I would add this round plate piece between the head and the torso, just to make the head spinning a little bit easier, but it's not a necessity, it's definitely like just a want, and it's easily something you can modify if you want to. Up next, we have Oogie Boogie's kids, Locke, Shock, and Barrel. So starting with Locke, he's got a plain red torso with the plain red short legs. He has 2 facial expressions. One is this more shocked ooh face, and then the other one is a kind of evil smiling face. You can see on the back it's just plain, there's really nothing there. Up next we have Shock, and she's got this lavender torso as well as a skirt piece over black legs. I really like how the hair is attached to this witch hat. I think that looks really good. This definitely screams that it's Shock. She has 2 facial expressions. One is this bigger grin, and then on the other side is more of a little smirk. On the back there's no printing at all, but you can get a better view of what the hairpiece looks like. Up next we have Barrel, and he has a sand blue torso and legs, which is one of my favorite LEGO colors, so I love this. He's got torso printing in the front, and he's got 2 facial expressions. One of this like ooh face, and then the other one is this huge wide grin. There's something about this grin and the hairpiece that just reminds me of the Joker. I don't know what it is, but for me this just reminds me of the Joker. I just feel like this is Joker's child. The back of the torso and legs don't have printing, but you can get a better view of the hairpiece. So let's address the biggest things that are said about these 3 minifigures. One, where are the masks? And we had a designer interview just a few days ago, and they did touch on this. There would have been 2 ways to do this. One would have been to create new molds to kind of fit over the heads, and that wasn't really possible. Just they can't make molds for every single thing in a new set. And then the second way that this could have been done would have been to print the masks on the headpieces themselves. And apparently when they did that, they looked absolutely demonic and creepy and jarring, and so they decided instead of using mask pieces, we're just gonna print 2 facial expressions on either side of the head and leave it at that. So there you have it. That's why these 3 do not have their masks. Up next we have Santa Claus, and from first glance you may think that this is just a regular plain old LEGO Santa Claus, but when you look a little bit closer you can see some indications that this is indeed a new Santa, like the little lollipop that's printed on the back of his torso. and he's got black gloves, but when you remove his beard, you can actually see the candy corns that are stuck to the front of his torso. He does come with two facial expressions, one with a scared face as well as one with a happy face, and of course he has his little rosy cheeks. Up next we have Sally. She's got a fully printed torso and fully printed legs. I love that this comes with two facial expressions, one of her little pouty face and then the other is her smiling face. I really love all the little details in this minifigure, as well as the side printing on the arms and the side printing on the legs. I just think it's beautiful. On the back you can get a better view of her hairpiece, and once you remove it you can see the fully detailed back of the torso. Now this is the second Sally we've gotten in Lego form, so I'm going to do a side-by-side between this one and the CMF version. The CMF version will be the one on the right, so just bear that in mind. As you can see here, there are some subtle differences in the torso printing as well as the leg printing between the two. I think I like the front of the new one better than the old one, but once we get into the side profiles in the back, it starts to get a little bit weird. The arm printing on the old CMF series is just beautiful. I love all the stitching marks on that. I wish they had done that with this new one. And here you can also see the differences in the hairpiece. I prefer the new hairpiece over the old hairpiece. And here you can see the legs from behind, and honestly, I think I like the old CMF legs a little bit better than these ones. I don't know if they were just not possible to do, but I really like the old ones. Up next we get our favorite Bone Daddy, Jack Skellington. And at first glance, I really love this minifigure. I like that they used the extra tall legs that were in the Avatar sets earlier. I think that that's the right choice, especially for how tall and lanky he is. They also use the extra long arms, so I think that that also fits really well because I can't imagine him having short, tiny arms with long legs. I think it would just look absolutely bizarre. From behind you can see the back torso printing as well as the waistcoat. And side note about the waistcoat, make sure that you do not accidentally throw it away like I did. Luckily I'm lazy and didn't take out my trash, so I was able to save it, but that could have been really bad. So this is also, like Sally, the second Jack that we've gotten in Lego form, so I'm going to just do a side-by-side comparison like we did for Sally. So as you can see here, there are two different head printings. I think I prefer the new one over the old one. He's got the same bat bow tie, but the torso printing is different as well as the leg printing. Now something to note that with the extra long legs, the leg printing can't go all the way down to the feet, so that's why it looks a little bit different with the tall model. It doesn't bother me, but I know that it will definitely bother some people, but again for me, it's no difference. Now the side arm printing on the CMF version, I adore. I wish they did that on the new one, but again, I don't know with the extra long arms if that's even possible. With these, they both have back torso printing as well as the waistcoat, so no real difference here. And lastly, we have one of my favorite characters probably like ever. We have Zero. I adore Zero, and I knew it couldn't be a Nightmare Before Christmas set without him, and Lego far and beyond exceeded my expectations. This new mold is stunning. And he is made of this like rubbery material, not like the typical hard Lego plastic. So if he breaks an ear off, you don't have to worry about choking on it. It's all safe. Zero's good. We love him. Now the question everyone's asking, where is Oogie Boogie? And basically it boils down to a couple of big reasons. One, when Lego works with an IP partner like Disney, Disney has to sign off on the minifigs that can be included, and these were just the minifigs they included. Oogie Boogie was not in that lineup. Additionally, he doesn't appear in any of the scenes between Jack's house, the town hall, and Spiral Hill. He's not in any of these scenes, and also Simon didn't include him in the fan submission. Additionally, it is really difficult for Lego to continuously make new molds, especially things that will drive up the price, and personally, I'd prefer to have a Zero mold over Oogie Boogie. So without further ado, let's now take a look at the build part of this set. It absolutely blew it away. It's one of those sets that you have to build to really understand just how amazing it is. So one of the first things that we build is the walking bathtub that Lock, Shock, and Burl used to kidnap the Easter Bunny, and then eventually they get it right and get Santa. I really love that you can fit him in there as well as the three kids just on their own. It's a really cool little build. The next thing we build is the town hall, and I really loved the techniques they used to make this building come to life. I loved the use of the stickered pieces to create this Halloween Town banner and the countdown as well as the clock. But my favorite part of the town hall is this bubbling fountain. The techniques were incredible, and I really like the cobblestone that leads up into the front entryway. It's really, really detailed and beautiful. Now the roof pieces do come off to reveal this room that is just full of all of these Christmas things that Jack has stolen from Christmas Town. Inside you can find a wreath and tiny gifts and stockings and spiders. It's really sweet. You can lift off the next layer to reveal the main level of the town hall, where you can see the artwork on the walls, like these masks that are actually in the movie. They also have a working door, which was a ton of fun to play with. But one of the cool things that you can see here is the clips that they use to create these angles on the town hall. And from the back, you can see Jack's podium as well. Now the rest of the town hall lifts off to kind of reveal this little crypt underneath it, which is meant to be a reference to Sally always trying to poison Dr. Finkelstein. As you can see here, the skeleton has a spoon, there's a bowl, but you can also see frog's breath. It's just a really cool little Easter egg that's hidden. Now we get to move on to the next part of the build, which is Jack's house, and this one is a really exciting one. Now I built this and I still don't know what kind of witchcraft is preventing this from falling over, because look at those angles. Like, how is this thing balancing? I have no idea, but I'm convinced that it's magic. I really liked all the exterior details to Jack's house, like this little curvy wall that leads up to the gate, which I forgot to clip in, so ignore that. But one of my favorite details in this set are the cats that sit on top of the post on either side of that gate. And when you eventually learn how to clip in the gate, they do open and close. And the designer spared no expense with the cobblestones as well as the stair technique leading up to Jack's front door. It just looks stunning, even down to the yellow window glow that you can see from the movie. And Tim Burton is known for these otherworldly shapes and angles, and by some sheer brilliance, the designers absolutely nailed it with this part of the build. So like the town hall, the roof of Jack's house does come off to reveal a room in the attic. Here you can find a couple wreaths, pumpkins, skulls, and tiny little gifts, as well as these vines that kind of trickle down into Jack's workspace. And as we move down to Jack's office, we can see his little experimentation room where he just tries to find out as much as he can about Christmas. And there are a ton of little Easter eggs that you can see in here from the movie. Sitting on the easel is the picture that he gives to Sally so that she can sew his Santa suit. On the opposite wall, you can see the formula for Christmas, and in every LEGO Idea set, they give an ode to the fan designer. So Simon is SI, and you can see that he is the formula for Christmas. And it's kind of hard to see, but you can see a box on the ground with the green bottle as well as the fish, which is a gift that Sally gives to Jack. Moving down along Jack's house, we can also see a little Christmas tree that's hidden down there. Moving along to the last part of the build, as well as the most iconic scene in Nightmare Before Christmas, the Spiral Hill and Zero's Graveyard. So Zero's Graveyard has all these different references to all of the different herbs that are usually seen throughout the movie, like henbane, witch hazel, deadly nightshade that Sally uses to poison the doctor. Other little details in the graveyard are some RIP tombstones, but there is also Zero's little tomb house. I really love the uses of the jack-o'-lantern headpieces, as well as the pumpkins, the lavender and orange flowers. All of these little details really brought life into the graveyard. That's such an oxymoron, but for whatever reason, it's just like the best way to describe this. It really gives it some life and color, and it looks really, really great. Moving along to Spiral Hill, I can't even imagine how difficult it was to get this angle in a legal LEGO way. It was a lot of fun to build, but I can imagine that it caused a lot of stress to the designers. But one of the great parts that is used in this set is kind of like this circular, flexible material. And you'll see what I mean if you do buy this set or if you see it in stores. It's this very flat material, and it looks better than it would if it was brick built and chunky. It's the same material that's used in the LEGO Polaroid camera if you did pick up that set, so you can compare the two so you know what you're getting into. But I think it was a great parts usage. It looks really good, and Spiral Hill would be nothing without that moon behind it. So as you can see, without the moon piece, there's a ton of little details behind the hill that they included, as well as like these vines and skull heads and spiders. I love the use of all the skull heads in the set. Like there's just so many, and the more skull heads, the better, in my opinion. But as easily as the moon comes off, you can put it back on. So the different scenes look great separately, but if you wanted to create a whole diorama of Nightmare Before Christmas, there are all these little clips and bars on the side of each of the portions that allow you to clip them in and create this massive movie scene. Overall, I really enjoyed this build. I mean, as a big Nightmare Before Christmas fan and as a Tim Burton fan, this was just a dream set to have, but weirdly, the pictures and the box art don't really do it justice. You kind of have to build it and experience it in order to really appreciate all the finer details that are included. This wraps up my review. Please leave me a comment below letting me know what you think and if you plan on picking this up, and I will see you guys for the next one. Bye!